Hello, you're watching VTV News live at 8 from Hanoi, Vietnam. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Dai Chang with today's latest headlines. Japan-Vietnam Economic Conference took place discussing measures to bolster cooperation after Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations. How has Vietnam utilized trade remedies in a bid to protect domestic industries under the context of global integration? And Nordic Development Fund supports Vietnam in emissions reduction. Stay with us for the stories and more. The top news for today. State President Trương Tấn Sang welcomed the Japanese business delegation during their trip to Vietnam. Their trip was scheduled to attend the Japan-Vietnam Economic Conference. At the event, State President Trương Tấn Sang highly valued the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. He also spoke highly of the joint vision statement on Japan-Vietnam relations. The statement was delivered during party leaders Nguyễn Phú Trọng visit to Japan earlier last month. State President Trương Tấn Sang also expressed his hopes that Japan would continue to be a leading investor in Vietnam. Executive Vice President of Japan External Trade Organization, or ZETRO, Yuri Sata, highlighted that the number of Japanese businesses wanting to expand investment in Vietnam has been on the rise. Japanese firms hope to assist Vietnamese businesses in improving their competitiveness and quality of human resources. The Japan-Vietnam Economic Conference took place on Wednesday morning in Hanoi. The conference discussed measures to bolster cooperation following the success of the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations, in which Japan and Vietnam are the two potential member countries.
If the TPP is ratified, support industries and high-tech agriculture are likely to be the two key areas of cooperation between Japan and Vietnam.
This is an opportunity to promote cooperation in order to form industrial and agricultural chains between Japan and Vietnam. We'll try to meet the demands of the global market.
Nearly 1,500 Japanese firms have operated in Vietnam since 1990. However, these businesses have yet to fully connect with Vietnamese companies.
In the context of the TPP, Vietnam becomes increasingly important as a center of economic development in the global supply chain. We are planning on more than 20 joint agricultural projects in the northern and central Vietnam. We'll connect selling and buying support firms from each country.
Despite government effort in signing various negotiations, only 30% of firms in Japan have made the most of recent free trade agreements. The same can be said for Vietnamese firms.
The responsibility of government is to create favorable conditions for enterprises so that they can take advantage of the TPP. Besides the 0% tariff duties, infrastructure and other tariff barriers need to be solved. I think the most important factor here are the investors. Government has shared a lot of information, especially TPP-related information, as well as investment opportunities.
Speaking at the conference, Deputy Prime Minister Hoàng Trung Hải said that the government would continue to collaborate with Japanese firms to improve the business environment and attract more Japanese investors to Vietnam.
Thanks to global economic integration, Vietnamese consumers have been able to enjoy a wide range of imported goods. However, as Vietnam increasingly integrates into the world market, imports become cheaper and offer more competition for Vietnamese products. Trade remedies are all allowed in free trade agreements or FTAs, but how have Vietnamese firms have utilized these tools to protect their domestic industries? Let's take a look in the following report.
Until October of 2015, Vietnamese exports have been subjected to 94 trade protection cases in foreign markets. In contrast, Vietnamese firms have only engaged in trade remedies related to imported goods such as glass products, vegetable oil, and the U.S. chicken drumstick. Trade remedies related to dumping, subsidies, and safeguards are quite familiar to Vietnamese firms, but they have yet proven to be useful due to a number of reasons.
đáp ứng cái điều kiện của quy định pháp luật để đại diện cho cái ngành sản xuất trong nước. Thứ hai là cái vấn đề
In order
là
to submit a case,
nguồn lực.
enterprises have to be large enough in terms of scale to represent the country's specific sector. In addition, trade remedies are free. Firms have to be financially prepared. More importantly, we have to have sufficient evidence against imported goods.
Đối với hàng hóa nước ngoài nhập khẩu vào Việt Nam.
Out of the 4 cases submitted for remedies by Vietnamese firms, only 2 were successful as the firms were large enough and well prepared in terms of finance and human resources. Small and medium-sized enterprises should work together once trade disputes arise.
Our company has dealt with 4 to 5 cases and succeeded in some. The firm has to be well prepared and linked up to other firms and associations to seek help from lawyers.
In order to disseminate information on trade remedies to local firms, the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry has introduced a website focusing on the issue. Enterprises are provided with transparent communication channel to learn and discuss this subject. Experts have appreciated this tool as firms need to be aware of the legal remedies in order to better utilize them.
Firms should share information from associations and government offices. In other countries, they have specific plans for communicating on trade disputes so that business community can receive support from the public.
According to the upcoming effective free trade agreements, Vietnam will remove 80 to 90% of taxes on imported goods. The threat of increased competition is real, so experts have suggested on some improvements in terms of policies to improve local business awareness about trade remedies, as well as to connect firms in utilizing these trade tools.
Now, the Futures Rise of Southeast Asia Forum has kicked off on Wednesday in Ho Chi Minh City. Over 100 policymakers and experts from Southeast Asia countries attended the event. The forum is organized with the Bayer Group, Institute of International Rice Research, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Thailand and Vietnam account for almost half of global rice exports. However, future development will be negatively affected due to climate change, limited arable land, and poor seed quality. During the 3-day forum, experts will discuss measures to improve the resistance of rice in the region. Those include links between governments and the private sector in the rice value chain, supporting farmers to access modern technology and mechanization initiatives. Now, the government has submitted a proposal to readjust consumption taxes for automobiles from July 2016 onwards. If passed, cars with cylinders lower than 3,000 cubic meters will receive tax cuts. Meanwhile, taxes on high-cylinder vehicles with over 3,000 cubic meters will increase to between 90 and 160%, as opposed to the current rate of 60%. According to the government, these vehicles will experience higher taxes because of their large size and high petrol consumption, deemed unsuitable for citizens' incomes. Now, branding is important to any businesses, especially small firms and startups. How do they establish own identity? This is the main question discussed at a conference on branding that took place on Wednesday morning in Hanoi. More than 500 delegates and enterprises and well-known experts attended the event.
1, 2, 3! Vietnamese businessman Phạm Đình Nguyên bought Beaufort Town in the U.S. state of Wyoming in 2012. He changed his name to Beaufort Findeli Town to reflect his new status as the regional hub for his Vietnamese coffee brand. The businessman promoted Findeli to an international level in a short period of time.
First, we have to be different in order to survive. Second, because we are a new player, we have to avoid traps posed by famous brands. Third, we have to boldly introduce our products and receive feedback, then adjust and make changes.
Findeli's success is only a rare case. Many startups are still struggling with branding issues. Experts at the conference pointed out that one of the solutions was as simple as just being different.
In fact, it is very difficult to be better because you need good staff. But if you are different, you'll be much better than your rivals. You don't need human resources to be a unique firm.
Many businessmen also said that branding came from their core values. The reality of business and company strategy paved the way for brand strategy development. This is especially true for newly opened businesses.
Firms will change their operations in response to external demand. Then they will see new products they need to launch. Only after that they will start to think about branding. Then that stage begins.
New players are not necessarily disadvantaged. Any firm can go out of business. Defining a brand is a journey of self-discovery. Even though it is difficult, time-consuming, and uncomfortable, every business needs an effective brand when competing in a global marketplace.
In other news, more than 20 years ago, the South Central Coastal Province of Bình Định planned to establish a coconut production area with government support. However, the project has still not progressed much. Recently, provincial authorities have decided to expand coconut growing areas up to 10,000 hectares and at the same time establish the Hoài Nhân Coconut Association, creating momentum for Bình Định coconut industry.
Hoài Nhân district has more than 3,000 hectares of coconut farms, generating 31,000 tons of coconuts every year. However, most products here have not been fully processed. They are then brought to China by small traders, so output is unstable. A clear guideline is needed to ensure the stability of such products.
We must pay attention to developing coconut production areas as well as trade promotion and brand development.
Building a brand name requires high product value. However, only a few of the 150 production and processing enterprises in Hoài Nhân have grasped the importance of raising product quality. Ngọc An Cooperative is the first business in the district to invest in high-tech for producing high-quality cosmetics from coconuts. They also expect to bring their products into supermarket chains.
Currently, we are upgrading pure coconut oil. Through insight into consumer needs and advertising, we can develop our products to better serve our customers.
Local authorities in Hoài Nhân have also been developing policies to support coconut processing centers and enterprises so that they can raise their product value.
We will pay further attention to promoting brands through trade fairs, as well as to introducing coconut products to supermarkets. This should also come with production support, including modern machines for production centers and building plans to raise residents' livelihoods.
Despite this high quality, coconut trees in Hoài Nhân district do not generate much income for farmers. This is partly due to a lack of trade promotion. It is hoped that the Hoài Nhân Coconut Association will help boost coconut production and consumption in the region.
The agricultural sector of Lâm Đồng province has seen positive changes in intensive farming techniques and scientific transfer over the past 5 years. This has contributed to raising farmers' livelihoods in the province. Let's take a closer look in the following report.
Vũ Đình Phúc is among the pioneers applying new farming technology to agriculture production in Lâm Đồng province. His high-tech flower and vegetable farm generates a revenue of nearly $50,000 per hectare per year.
Applying high-tech to flower farming has helped us raise productivity. Our income has greatly improved.
This is the dairy farm of Cầu Sắt Dairy Cow Cooperative. With modern breeding facilities, the farm produces over 20 liters of milk per cow per day.
Through their high-tech model, Lâm is now home to 15,700 dairy cows, producing about 51,000 tons of milk a year.
Our cooperative has signed contracts with enterprises to ensure our products.
The province agriculture sector reports an increasingly high production value, economic efficiency, and consumption thanks to the expansion of husbandry and organic vegetable production. High-tech agriculture models have helped raise average income levels to over $35,000 per hectare per year. Local facilities have also been upgraded, improving conditions for business operations.
We have reached initial achievements in applying high-tech to agricultural production. This has created a foundation for further agricultural development in the coming time.
High-tech agriculture production models in Lâm Đồng are expected to multiply across the country, aiming to boost sustainable agricultural development.
Coming up next on VTV News, a month for the poor was launched in Hanoi, with organizations and enterprises pledging to donate around $2 million to the fund. A Nordic Development Fund supports Vietnam in emissions reduction. Stay tuned, we'll be back after a short break.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
You're watching VTV News Live. Now, a conference on community participation and local elections in Vietnam was hosted by the United Nations Development Programme and Oxfam Vietnam on October the 13th in Hanoi. Studies conducted by the two organizations in Hòa Bình, Quảng Trị, and Ninh Thuận provinces recognized the increasing involvement of the community in government activities in recent years. Experts believe that the Vietnamese political system has become more accessible to citizens. However, there still exist several legislative limitations to community participation. Conference participants recommended digital platforms as new communication channels between the authorities and people. Also, an interactive system of feedback and information will contribute greatly to sustainable public management by 2030. A month for the poor was launched in Hanoi on Tuesday. Here, organizations and enterprises pledged to donate around $2 million to the Fund for the Poor just after the launch. The event was organized by the Vietnam Fatherland Front and the Hanoi People's Committee. Speakers emphasized that poverty reduction was not only an economic issue, but also a condition to ensure political and social stability. To mark Vietnam's Businessman Day, 322 enterprises in Hanoi were awarded for their contribution to the country's economy among the 200,000 businesses operating in the area. Nha Trang Vinh Southern Province has the largest Khmer population in the Mekong Delta region. Local authorities here have implemented numerous programs to help local people develop production and improve their livelihoods. Thanks to these efforts, local Khmer people have seen improved living standards, and more to follow.
Nha Vinh Province has deployed 200 technicians to over 105 localities to help farmers with breeding and cultivation techniques since 2009. For example, local farmers in Cầu Ngang district faced difficulties due to lack of farming knowledge, but they then received lots of information on farming models and technical advice. This is Thạch Xuân Van's frog farm. He faced lots of problems raising the frogs. However, after getting technical support, he has been able to expand the farm and earn more.
In the first year, I didn't make any profits from the frog farming. In the second year, I've earned about $2,000. Raising frogs is a suitable model for poor families. It doesn't require much area or investment.
6 years ago, this farmer made a profit of just $400 from farming. Thanks to the help of local technicians, his profits have tripled.
In previous years, I cultivated my crops using traditional methods. After listening to the technical advice, I now know better ways to work the soil, weed, and cover the seeds. My productivity has doubled.
In addition, local authorities in Chavin province have worked on other programs to help local people to improve their living conditions. For example, the humanitarian tree model in Cầu district has raised funds to help local people with difficulties.
There are many people who are facing difficulties. I donated some money to help them because in many cases I got help from other people.
There are many poor households in Chavin province that can improve their livelihood thanks to the support of the social programs. Thanks to its many successes in recent years, Chavin province has set a target of decreasing the poverty rate to 80% by 2019, the average poverty rate among Khmer people in the Mekong Delta region.
In other news, the expanded sections of Highway 1 via Bình Định and Phú Yên provinces are officially open to traffic on Wednesday after 2 years of construction. The 120-kilometer long stretch cost $3.4 million, and the build, operate, transfer model was financed by government bonds. The sections cover 6 lanes and have a maximum speed limit of 80 kilometers per hour. The route will connect to deep water ports, Highway 19, and southern Laos and northeast Cambodia. Now, Electricity of Vietnam has successfully installed the rotor of the first turbine of the $1.58 billion Lai Châu hydro power plant on October 14th. The 1,000-ton, 15.5-meter diameter rotor measures 2.8 meters high. It's the largest equipment in the plant. The installation was completed 3 months earlier. Lai Châu hydro power plant is constructed on the highest bank of the main stream of Da River. On the same day, the project connecting Sơn La and Lai Châu provinces to the national electric grid was successfully transferred to EVN. Now, Vietnam was the 9th biggest cement producer in the world in 2014. However, along with increasing productivity come larger emissions. In order to reduce emissions caused by cement production, the Nordic Development Fund has been supporting Vietnam. Let's find out more in the following report.
According to the Ministry of Construction, 65 million tons of carbon dioxide were estimated to be released in 2015. Carbon dioxide is the primary greenhouse gas, causing global warming and contributing to the climate change.
To deal with the problem, the Nordic Development Fund has been supporting Vietnam to construct and develop the nationally appropriate mitigation action plan on NAMA in cement sector. After over a year of implementing the readiness plan, experts estimated that emissions can be reduced by 138 to 166 million tons by 2030.
The Nordic Development Fund, or NDF, has been helping Vietnam with emission reduction since 2009. The NAMA plan for the cement sector is among 6 projects. NDF is currently involved in Vietnam at the moment.
I think there are great opportunities here to work for emission reduction, and I very much hope that this NAMA work that NDF is supporting in Vietnam will also help to attract financing.
Besides NDF, international and domestic experts have been carrying out a readiness plan since March 2014. The plan includes a database of cement sector, different scenarios to assess NAMA's results and suggestions to stakeholders.
From now until March 2016, we will complete research and give more suggestions. We also ask for opinions from stakeholders about those suggestions to launch short-term plan to 2020 and long-term plan to 2030.
The NAMA plan needs the involvement of different parties. Among those, cement manufacturers are the main subject to adopt emission reduction solutions. According to businesses, besides finances and mechanisms, enterprises also need support in terms of technology.
To reduce emissions in cement sector and other industrial sectors, it requires investment in technologies. Our company needs support to change technologies, so we can apply modern technologies into our production lines.
Vietnam aims to reduce emissions by 8% by 2020 and possibly 25% prior to 2030 with support from international organizations. A successful NAMA in the cement sector will partly contribute to this goal. Thanh Hải, Vietnam Television, Hanoi.
And just before we say goodbye, let's take a look at our updated weather forecast. And that's all we have for now. For more of our news coverage, please log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. And we'll be back at 3 p.m. local time with more developing stories, so don't forget to tune in. For now, goodbye.